Hello, broadcasters. Welcome to episode 246 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. My name's Geige. I'm here with Dan, of course. Dan, how are you doing?
Doing good. We're getting close to 250.
Yeah, rapidly approaching it. Yeah, it's been a good week. Dan and I, if you're new here, Dan and I are the founders of StreamYard. We do these town halls every single Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, and we do them for a few reasons. One is to stay in tune with all of you, go through the same flow that you all do with your own shows and productions. Two is to answer any of your questions. That's why we're calling it Ask StreamYard. So if there's anything you'd like us to touch on tonight, feel free to leave it in the chat. We'll do our best to get to as many as we possibly can. And I always mention the three pillars of StreamYard, which are ease of use, stability, and professional stream. So if you're about those three things, Streamer is the tool for you. See folks tuning in from all over the world tonight. It's great to have everybody here. We have Vic BC live from Vancouver Island as usual. Dan and I are very familiar and lived there for a long time, so that's awesome. Before I forget, we have awesome shows on StreamYard. We have YouTube channel reviews with Dee and Daniel the second Saturday of every month. Both of them are pros when it comes to all things video and especially YouTube. It's a really fun show where they give specific advice on and feedback on individual channels, like how to think about your niche or your analytics or thumbnails, everything you can imagine. So definitely check that one out. And then we also have Enhance Your live streams the last Tuesday of the month with Nick Nimmin, who again, Nick is a pro when it comes to all things video, but tune into that one for your specific live streaming questions. And then one thing we've been doing at the start of these so that we get to know a little bit more about you and you get to know a little bit more about us is a fun fact. The fun fact we had for tonight was, what's a place you've never been to, but you'd like to visit? Do you have one, Dan?
I have more than one. I have so many. If I had to pick one, basically any island, any tropical island is really high on my list. I would say like Easter Island or something like that, like some remote island in the ocean. How about you?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it's definitely a long list as well. I've heard Japan's pretty cool, and I've never been there. I've always wanted to visit Japan, so I'd probably pick that one. New Zealand's also on the list too, because I know you've been there. You said it was pretty cool. So probably yeah, one of those two.
Cool. Also islands, not as small as the one I'm thinking, but
yeah, I guess technically, yeah.
Well, maybe it's just because I'm from an island. I always want to go to islands, but yeah, there's so many, honestly. I can list them for the whole show.
All right, I see we already have a few questions here, so let's do a couple questions, and then we'll get into. We do have one new smaller feature to announce tonight, and then we're also going to talk a little bit more about the announcement last week. But yeah, let's see what else we had here. Data is King says, I figured out how to import a custom banner in Canva into the StreamYard studio. You have to be on the paid version of Canva, select the image as a PNG and save as transparent in Canva. Yeah, that's a great point. Data is King. Canva works great if you're looking to create sort of cool overlays or a custom banner or stuff like that. If you are looking for a free alternative, Google Slides works really, really well too. So all you have to do in Google Slides, very similar. You can just sort of make a slide, and there's an option to export it as transparent. Both are good options.
Yeah, probably not as many. Well, definitely not as many templates and stuff as Canva. It's not necessarily built for that, but it does work pretty well actually. And Figma is something that I actually personally use for it quite a lot more advanced. And then obviously the Adobe products are even more advanced. But yeah, Canva is a great one. It does kind of suck that it is on the paid plan to export as transparent PNGs, but you never know. Maybe that would change in the future, and it is pretty cheap. So yeah, good option.
Cool. Speak English with this guy says never visited Brazil, but going in April. That sounds
cool.
Fun. Brazil would actually be pretty high on my list as well, partially because there's so many folks on StreamYard that are from Brazil. So it'd be cool to actually go there. Beauty Bubble says, okay, hold up. It's episode 246 and 1,000 subs from 100,000. Yes, we're almost there. Thanks, Beauty Bubble. Yeah, we'll have to do something special for the 100,000 subscriber mark.
Yep. Maybe episode 250 as well. It's not quite as exciting as 300, but still pretty cool.
Halfway, or not halfway, but Home Rapid Repair says, question, have you considered adding simple sounds in studios such as clapping, cheering, laughing, etc.? Do you want to take that one, Dan?
Yeah, very good question. Yeah, we've definitely considered doing it. Obviously, you can upload your own right now, so you can upload whatever sound you want. But yeah, we have considered just adding some simple sound effects as well. It's not something we have immediately planned coming out soon, but I do get the purpose of it. And I'd be curious for anyone else watching the chat, is there specific sound effects you would really want? And we've asked this before, but yeah, any specific sound effects you want, but it sounds like for you, it's clapping, cheering, laughing. I'm sure there's more as well. So feel free to let us know if there's other ones.
Absolutely. iOS fan says, is there a way to live stream in 4K? So the highest from StreamYard now, iOS, is 1080p. If we ever do add 4K, it would probably be on the recording side first. But good. Thank you for the question.
Yep. I would also be curious if you have a specific use case in mind, or if you just want basically the highest quality possible. I would say, think about 4K. It's very hard to tell something is actually in 4K because most people's monitors are nowhere near that level. And then also most people's bandwidth can't really handle it. So for live streaming, for certain use cases, it could definitely be useful. But for a lot of use cases, it's pretty overkill because most viewers can't really watch it or notice it.
Yeah, lots of folks watching on mobile as well. Southern Emperor says, "Are you guys planning on adding a feature for us to add audio for a call-in line?" It's something we're open to, Southern Emperor. One solution, or there's a couple solutions that people do now. One that's pretty popular is using an audio interface like a Rodecaster. And with that type of device, you can actually connect something like a cell phone into the interface and just accept calls through the interface, and then the interface goes into StreamYard. I've seen people use that, and it works really well. And then there's also people that basically use like the virtual version of something like a Rodecaster, like Voicemeeter. It's something we've considered. We do want to keep things relatively simple, and there is always obviously the option for people to just go to the link from their phone, but something we're open to. GTV says, "Have you guys thought about OnAir for the basic plan for less viewers?" Yeah, that's a good question, GTV. It's definitely a possibility. Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. It's something that we've talked about and have considered.
Yep. Yeah, we're open to it.
Robin says, "The show chat in the comment section, when you show it, turns blue. Any way to show and then make it so we can see the comments still in the comment section so it's not covered with blue?"
Yeah, I know what you mean. So you click a comment and then you can't actually see it unless you, as far as I know, you have to pull your cursor off of it. Potentially, yeah, that is something we'd like to explore. I get the pain point there. So yeah, no promises on when that would come out, but it is something we are aware of. Yeah, I totally get that.
Cool. Senior Mac Boriqua says, "Question, I had a setback and I'm using the free version for now." Sorry, you had a setback there, Senior. "Are there any new goodies on the free version that I should know about?" Yeah, that's a good question. So a ton of the features that we launch are available on all plans. I think one of the announcements we're making tonight, I believe that one is going to be available on all. Okay, so yeah, one of the features we're going to get to tonight, Senior, is actually available on all plans. And then tons of the features from not so long ago are also available on all plans, like the ability to do custom layouts is available on all plans.
Virtual backgrounds.
Yeah,
background noise removal.
Yeah, I would just get into a studio and play around with it. I think you'll be surprised at like how much functionality is actually on the free version.
Yeah, most of StreamYard's features are on the free version, and most of the new features we added on the free version. It's just things like OnAir, for example. Last week we announced custom registration for OnAir. OnAir in general is only available on the Pro plan and up. But yeah, most features are available on all plans.
All right. I see a lot more questions here. Let's do one more, and then I want to get into some of the feature stuff. Melnet says, "Will you be adding more than 100 overlays / videos? I didn't realize there was a max amount." So that is on a per brand basis, Melnet. So if it is the type of thing where it makes sense for you to split it into multiple brands, that would be the easiest way to get around the limit. It is possible that we can add more in the future. It's mostly something we wanted to make a high enough limit that most people wouldn't bump into it, but we also didn't want to make it unlimited because then there's the potential for people to do strange things like upload an insane amount of overlays. So if it is something that people bump into, we are open to adding more, but I would be curious if the brand tab solves it.
Yeah, and also just as a follow-up question, I'd be curious why you have 100 overlays and backgrounds. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just curious what exactly your use case is. Like, is it all overlay images and you're just kind of going through like a slideshow of images, or you just have a whole bunch of, transparent overlays or a bunch of videos? Just curious what kind of your use case is that you're hitting 100. You're definitely not the only one to hit it, but yeah, just always want to learn more to see if there's something else we could maybe do to improve it besides just boosting the limit, or if maybe just using multiple brands would actually be a better way to do it for you.
Cool. Yes, let us know. I see lots of other questions here. We'll get to these in a second, but let's just get into a couple of the things we wanted to cover. One is, in case you missed the last broadcast we did last week, we mentioned we launched custom registration fields for StreamYard OnAir. And if you've never heard of OnAir, or you're not familiar with OnAir, OnAir is basically StreamYard's ability for you to do your very own webinar on StreamYard, or if you want to host a private live stream. Those are the types of things that you can do with StreamYard OnAir. It's meant to be like a super simple way to host something like a webinar. But if instead of a webinar, you just want to also go to, like, say, embed it on your own website in addition to a stream on YouTube and Facebook, it'll work great for that as well. And the new functionality here, custom registration fields, is basically if you are wanting to sort of gate the content and capture some information before people can actually watch it. Before we didn't allow you to customize it, and now you can actually add some of your own fields. And we actually have a video here from Dana that walks through how it all works. Anything to add there, Dan, before I play the video?
No, I don't think so.
All right. And Dana will talk about it here.
Hey, StreamYard community, it's Dana. I'm so excited to unveil a brand new feature that lets you understand your audience better than ever. Imagine hosting a webinar and knowing exactly where your participants are tuning in from, or having direct channels like their phone number to connect with them deeper. Introducing custom registration fields. You asked and we listened. Now you can personalize your on-air registration page by adding custom fields tailored to your needs. Want to know the countries that your participants are joining from, or maybe gather their phone numbers? It's all a click away. But wait, there's more. The phone number and country will auto-populate based on your viewer's browser data, and your participants can easily adjust it if needed. Beyond that, you can add text input fields, single select dropdowns, and checkboxes to collect even more valuable insights from your viewers. So, how do you get started? Simply head to your on-air settings page, click registration on the left, and hit the add button. It's that easy. This feature is available on all plans, professional and above. Any feature that has on-air included.
Cool. So yeah, hopefully that's a helpful walkthrough. Anything to add there, Dan?
So specifically, there are quite a few unique fields you can add. So you can only see it right at the end there, but it's phone number, text fields, selection drop down. So if you want to have something where, like, hey, I want to ask a question and have 4 different options they can select, and then check boxes. So, do you opt into marketing emails or something like that? You can have a checkbox. So it's pretty powerful, and also very simple to use, though. So it's not too complicated. I find you should be able to pick it up quite easily if you're planning to use it. So pretty exciting.
Cool. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or any feedback on what you'd like to see in the future with OnAir, definitely let us know. I'll do a couple questions here and then get into the new other feature that we're announcing. Joshua says, what are the privacy issues with this? Is it exportable for third-party services? So Joshua, it works exactly like how it would work if, say, you use something like HubSpot or ConvertKit or any other email provider or solution that allows you to do a form. So without StreamYard collects it on your behalf, right? So it's the same way as if you were collecting it through one of those services. So it's exportable to third-party services on your behalf, right? Like that data is data that you're collecting and that is for you. Like it's very popular for folks to take that and put it into their CRM and invite them to future content or maybe to purchase their course or whatever it is that you're doing with it.
Yep. Yeah. And right now, in terms of exporting it to third-party services, so say you want to export that to MailChimp or ConvertKit or whatever your CRM is or something like that. Right now, we don't have direct integrations yet, but those are coming fairly soon. But you can download just a CSV file, and it'll have all those custom fields in there. You upload it to the service. It'll map pretty easily over there. So it's relatively straightforward, but it will be even easier once we actually have integrations.
All right, let's do a few other questions here. Awesome, Kathy. Glad the hoodie and pillow made it to you. Congrats on the win.
Cool.
Tristan says, question from a client. When can we customize the on-air email? Thanks for the registration field update. You want to take that one, Dan?
Yeah, good question. So not yet, obviously. We don't have that quite yet. I'm hoping fairly soon. So it is on the list of things we would like to add. It's not the next feature coming, but yeah, hopefully relatively soon. I don't know a specific date though.
Awesome. Let's see here. Mike said couldn't hear my guess when I was doing my on air. Yeah, sorry to hear that, Mike. My best guess, but you said you could hear things like the sound effects and videos. My best guess is that your like the default sort of output that you had selected was not the one that you were expecting it to be. But I would it shouldn't be related to on air. That's more the studio itself. But I would just go to StreamYard.com/contact if you haven't resolved it yet, and they can walk through with you how to troubleshoot and test like which speaker is actually being used.
Yep.
Let's see what else we have here. Matthew says, what is pre-recorded streaming? Yeah, that's a good question, Matthew. So pre-recorded streaming is a feature we launched a while ago now, maybe about a year ago now. Yeah, the whole idea is that, maybe you have a regular show and for whatever reason, you can't make it during a particular week, but you still want it to go out at the regular time and to sort of have the sort of live experience. Pre-recorded streaming basically allows you to still use a lot of the cool StreamYard features, like the ability to schedule out to multiple platforms and all of that, but to just upload the stream beforehand. And if you do choose to use the feature, we always recommend that you make it known that it's pre-recorded, as each platform has slightly different policies, but most of them have policies around like you're not supposed to trick viewers into like thinking it's live, right?
Yep. And I find it's usually useful if you have like a scheduled time you want to go live. So say for us, 6 p.m. Pacific every single Sunday. If for some reason we can't be there, we can schedule a pre-recorded video to go live at that time. Or some people use it just if they're a little nervous to go live for the first time, they can do a recording. If they screw up, they just do it again, or even edit it and then post that as a pre-recorded. So it can be kind of a good way to break into live streaming. Basically, just if you can't have it go wrong, it can be a nice sort of safe way to do it. But I do personally, I prefer actually going live, and we recommend going live just because it's way more interactive with the audience.
Absolutely. R. Ballard says, when I go live and play my intro, it's real abrupt at the end of start. Is there a way to fade from one to another? So there's not a way to fade at the moment, R. Ballard. The way we do our own intro is we start with an overlay up on the screen and wait a little bit and then play the video, which I think makes it less abrupt. That being said, I've alluded to it in the past, we are in the same sort of theme that we did custom layouts, adding some deeper functionality in the studio for folks that we want to make sure it all stays very simple and easy to use, but for folks that do really want to dig in and change, other types of aspects of the stream, that is something we're working on, and it would sort of capture these types of things.
Yeah, and it should fade out really subtly. Maybe you want a more elongated fade. Yeah, it should at least fade out quite quickly. But yeah, maybe that's still too abrupt.
All right, let's do one more here and then get into the other announcement. Gary says, hey guys, any plans on adding things like polls during our broadcasts? That's a good question, Gary. So for StreamYard on air, that's been a huge request. I think it's when it comes to like if you are doing something like a webinar, it's definitely a needed feature to have things like polls and Q&A. So that is being worked on specifically for on air. We're not sure yet if we would make it support other types of platforms, partially because some of them have their own versions of polling and things like that. But for on air specifically, it's something that we're working on. All right. So let's jump into the other announcement for tonight, which was posting trimmed videos to LinkedIn. So very similar to the feature we launched not so long ago with YouTube, is now after your stream or recording is over, if you go to the there's a little edit/repurposing button there. If you go into that, you'll find StreamYard's editor, which allows you to basically trim the video and potentially pick a section that you like and actually post that out to now LinkedIn in addition to YouTube. So pretty cool feature if you're maybe you're doing like a longer podcast, and after the podcast is over, you want to choose a particular segment that you think makes a good video on its own merits. And yeah, if you haven't had a chance to check out the just the editor in general and the repurposing stuff in general, I would definitely take a look at it. We've added a lot of cool stuff there, and I think it's becoming a pretty useful part of the platform.
Yeah. So basically, once you finish a show, say it's like a 45-minute recording or stream, you then want to basically get more value out of your content. That's kind of what the editor is for. So if you go to the library page on the dashboard, click your video, click edit and repurpose. You can resize the video, trim it to whatever size you want, and you can do it either as a portrait short or as like a full 16:9 regular video, and then you can post that out to it's now YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook. And for LinkedIn specifically, right now it's just profiles. And it's posting both long form videos, so 16:9 videos, I think up to 20 minutes, and then short form LinkedIn Shorts. I don't know if they specifically call them that, or is it LinkedIn Reels Shorts? I don't even think it's technically a term, right? It's just short videos on LinkedIn, and then they kind of make it a square with a blur effect, but posting short clips to LinkedIn under 60 seconds as well. So you can do both those for profiles.
Cool. I think this just got covered, right? Data is King's wondering how long the videos can be.
Yes, when you're doing like the shorts trimming, we just limit it to 60 seconds in general, and then that can be posted to YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels, Instagram, TikTok, and now LinkedIn as well, or a long form one that can be up to 20 minutes. And that's just the 16:9 one.
Cool. Awesome, Clarion. Glad that you're looking forward to it. Jane says, I didn't realize we could do that, RE trimming and posting directly to LinkedIn. We'll check it out. Awesome, Jane. Is there a link to the full instructions? So directly to LinkedIn, it makes sense that you didn't realize because it did just get released. We did add the YouTube functionality a bit ago. In terms of the full instructions, if you just go to StreamYard.com/contact and click the button there, there's a resource to go directly to our support guides. And if you just type in LinkedIn trimming, the support article should pop right up. I believe as well, if you haven't been to the site since we launched it, do we have a video that walks through? Actually, I don't think we have a video.
No, for this one we don't. No.
So yeah, I would recommend the support articles, Jane. But it's pretty easy to use as well. Like if you just if you want to just get a sense of how it works, if you just go to any old video you have and click the edit and repurpose button, you can at least get a sense of like how the editing and trimming works. And then posting is essentially just a click away to just send it to LinkedIn. And
Tristan just posted the link in the chat, so thanks for that, Tristan.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Tristan. Annie says, is it possible to schedule giveaways via your new giveaway tool?
Interesting.
So the giveaway tool has been out for a while, so there hasn't been like any big changes with it, but I guess it is new it wasn't always around, so I guess it's new in that sense. But there's not scheduling functionality within the giveaway tool itself. However, if you are doing a stream where you're pre-announcing that you're going to do a giveaway, you obviously can like schedule your stream on StreamYard and mention that you're going to be doing a giveaway and stuff like that. But I would be curious in it, like beyond that, like beyond having the scheduled post where you're doing the live stream that you plan on doing a giveaway, like what type of scheduling functionality you'd be interested in beyond that.
Yep.
I have a question from my Fish Tanks Aquatic says, are web resources like Stream Elements coming anytime soon? So I'm not 100% sure what we'll do with stuff like Stream Elements specifically, but similar to what I mentioned before, we are looking for some easy ways to add deeper customization to StreamYard without sort of making it complex in the future. So and the ability to do things in terms of like importing a web resource, like you mentioned, is something we're talking about. Let's see if there's any other ones here. Alex says, will you be able to have more than 10 people on screen at once anytime soon? So I don't have a particular date for you, Alex. I would be curious how many people you plan on having and like the type of show you have. It's always useful for us when we do sort of plan on adding these features to know like what kind of streams or recordings or events that you're doing. So don't have a particular date, but would love to learn more about your need. Let's do maybe one or two more here. Actually, should we go ahead and start queuing up the giveaway, Dan, while I answer a couple more here? Coffee Brown says, how can I get the background like yours with my brand info? Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty easy to do. Coffee, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. If not, please forgive me. Basically, all you have to do is, if you're in StreamYard, all you do is enter a StreamYard studio and go into the brand section. And there's a specific section in there called background. And you can just upload any background you like directly in there. And in terms of creating the background, there's tons of good resources for that. Canva is a very popular option if you're looking for something free. Google Slides works really well in terms of just adding stuff into a Google slide and then downloading the Google slide.
Yeah, we do have a bunch of examples too. They're not branded, but if you click to upload a background, there's a whole bunch of kind of cool patterns and designs you could use. They don't have your logo on it, but sometimes people will use just one of those example backgrounds and then just put their logo in the top right, and the logo kind of serves the branding purpose, and then the example background just looks good. But yeah, you can also use Canva, Figma, Google Slides, something like that. Some people will also, if they want something really custom, they'll use something like Fiverr, or you could even go in the StreamYard Facebook community group and find someone who's up for building you a really custom, cool background. People will usually do it for, not too expensive. And some people are quite quick at it. So that could be another option if you really want to go all out as well.
Cool.
And don't design it yourself, that is.
Absolutely. I think many of you are already familiar, but yeah, at the end of these, we always do a giveaway. And tonight we'll give away a StreamYard pillow and a StreamYard hoodie. And to be eligible, all you have to do is type in hashtag the yard. And if you haven't already done so, we'll give you maybe 10 or 15 seconds or so to get in your hashtag the yards. And while you're doing that, I'll maybe do another question or two. Chantel says, is there a plan to integrate the giveaway tool rather than opening another tab and sharing the screen? Yeah, it's a good question, Chantel. Yes, I don't have a particular date or anything, but when it comes to things like the giveaway, we do want to have a more integrated experience for not just the giveaway, but potentially other types of things like that. So it is something that we're looking into.
Yeah, I don't know the date, but at some point it will happen.
Yes. Appreciate some of the other details folks have added that are interested in more than 10 folks. Thanks. Katrine says 10 member board plus an assistant. Would love to do the meetings just because it's better than Zoom. Well, we appreciate that.
Agreed.
Awesome, Chris. Happy that it's that you've been able to do the church services for over 2 years. That's fantastic.
Cool.
As the number, or sorry, Dan?
Said good to see you, Chris. Yeah, it's pretty stable if you want to do it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and run it.
And sorry, what are we giving away again?
A StreamYard pillow and a StreamYard hoodie.
Cool. Good luck, everyone.
Kale of Wins. Congrats. Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. I think I actually pronounced that wrong. I'll just say Kale. I don't know how to pronounce it. Kale, thank you so much. You just want a StreamYard hoodie and a StreamYard pillow. If you could send an email to contact@streamyard.com, the team can work with you to get that shipped and get your size and everything like that.
Cool. Congrats.
All right. And on that note, this was episode 246 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. Thank you all for the awesome questions. If we didn't get to yours, sorry about that, but we'll have plenty of time in future episodes. But yeah, thanks again for being here. It's always a pleasure getting to spend some time with you and get your feedback. We'll see you next week at the same time, Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific.
Thanks, everyone. See you next week.